My name is Eleanor Price, I'm 74 years old, and I live in a small cottage at the edge of a quiet town where the birds wake me before dawn, and the kettle whistles at precisely 6:30 every morning. People who meet me now see just another old lady tending her garden, walking slowly with a cane, smiling too politely at strangers. What they don't see is the life I've lived, the love I've lost, and the one secret I've carried for more than 50 years. When I was 19, I fell in love with a boy named Thomas Hale. He had a laugh that could melt the hardest heart and eyes that looked at me like I was the only person on earth. We met at a summer fair in 1969. I remember the way his white shirt glowed beneath the string lights, the way he asked me to dance even though he had 2 left feet. We were inseparable after that, sneaking out to meet by the river, talking about the future, dreaming about the kind of life we'd build. A small house, 2 kids, a dog named Clover. But dreams don't always survive reality. When Thomas was drafted for the war, I promised I'd wait. We wrote letters, hundreds of them, his words filled with hope, mine with longing. Then one day the letters stopped. I waited weeks, then months. The news came quietly. Missing in action. My heart broke in a silence so loud it swallowed years. I tried to move on, but part of me was buried with him somewhere across the sea. I married another man eventually, Henry, a kind soul who knew I loved him differently. We built a decent life, 2 daughters, a home, laughter at the dinner table. But even through the years, I never threw away Thomas's letters. I kept them in a small tin box under the floorboard, where time couldn't touch them. Henry passed away 12 years ago, peacefully in his sleep. After the funeral, when the house grew too quiet, I began to dream of Thomas again. Not as he was, but as he would have been. Older, wiser, maybe sitting beside me, laughing at how stubborn I still am. Then last spring something happened. A letter arrived. Not an email, not a bill. A real letter, yellowed at the edges. The handwriting was familiar enough to stop my heart. Mrs. Eleanor Price, it said in ink that trembled just slightly. I tore it open with shaking hands. Inside was a single page. If you're reading this, it began. It means I finally found the courage to send it. My name is Thomas Hale. The world tilted. He was alive. Alive. He wrote that he'd been injured, captured, lost in paperwork, presumed dead. By the time he made it home, he'd tried to find me, but my family had moved. He said he'd married once, had no children, and that not a single day had passed without thinking of me. The letter ended with, "If you'd still want to see an old fool before time runs out, I live at 112 Orchard Lane, 3 towns over." I read it 100 times, whispering his name like a prayer. That night I didn't sleep. I sat by the window watching the moon shift across the sky, wondering if at our age, love could still have meaning. The next morning I packed a small bag, my best dress, a scarf he once said made me look like spring, and the tin box of his old letters. The bus ride took 2 hours, but it felt like traveling through a lifetime. Orchard Lane was quiet, lined with lilac trees. I found the house easily. My hands trembled as I knocked. The door opened slowly, and there he was, older, thinner, his hair white as snow, but those same blue eyes alive and warm. "Ellie," he whispered, voice cracking. No one had called me that in 50 years. I wanted to cry, but instead I laughed, the kind of laugh that shakes the dust off your soul. We sat together for hours, 2 old souls piecing together the years time had stolen from us. He showed me faded photographs. I read him parts of the letters he never received. We talked until the sun dipped low, and when I stood to leave, he took my hand and said softly, "Don't go yet. Not again." So I stayed. For the first time in decades, I felt like the girl who danced with him under the string lights. We spent that whole summer together, walking slowly through orchards, sitting on park benches, laughing at how wrinkled we'd both become. And when autumn came, Thomas asked me a question I never thought I'd hear again. "Will you marry me, Ellie?" I smiled through tears and said, "I've been waiting to say yes since 1969. We married in his garden, just the 2 of us and the pastor's wife. No music, no flowers, no guests, just 2 hearts finally finding home. He passed away peacefully last winter, holding my hand, a smile still on his lips. People say old love fades, that the heart forgets. But I don't believe that. I still make tea for two every morning, pour his cup out by the window, and whisper stories to the sky. Some nights when the house is quiet, I feel his hand in mine again, warm and sure. I used to think I'd lost my great love, but now I know love never really leaves you. It just waits for you to be ready to find it again.